Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. We already have 90 people on the call and counting, and it's 9:02. So let's get started. Okay, everybody, Vantage, my name is Todorovic. Some of you know me, some of you don't. And I really got the privilege this morning to open up the call. And I was asked to share a little bit about my background. So I think I have about 4 minutes or so. So I'll share a little bit about my background. I'm an immigrant. I was born and raised in Romania. And I know we all have a story. Everybody has a story. And a lot of us have stories of adversity. And the reason I wanted to share a little bit about my story of adversity and, triumph, we're here today, right? Is because I really believe that it doesn't matter where we come from. The only thing that matters is where we're going. And there's so many times we are so filled with doubt. And trust me, I was the queen of doubt. I grew up in literally on the streets of Romania, unfortunately, to a very dysfunctional family. My parents were both alcoholics. I was the oldest of four. And at 20, I got pregnant. I had my son, and I was literally on the streets with a baby on my arm. And in communist Romania, where I thought, okay, I don't have a family, I don't have a support system, I don't even have education. I finished high school, but that was it. And I said, this is a communist country, and where am I going? And so one day, literally, I received a note, and I don't even know to this day who that was, left it in my mailbox and told me that the next shipment of people is leaving the following night at 7 p.m. And I had 24 hours to decide whether I'm going to leave my 6-month-old baby behind and head for the border and risk being killed or shot or captured, or am I going to make it and I'm going to be able to build a good life for my son and myself as well. And by the grace of God, at 5 a.m. we made it. So I ended up in Hungary, Budapest, and I lived there for a little bit. But once again, it was very, very difficult for an immigrant. I didn't have an education. I didn't have a background. I didn't have experience. I was a young girl. Again, I was homeless for 4 months, and then I'll forward a little bit my story, but out of adversity and out of struggle, and because that failure is just simply not an option. And I knew that it wasn't anymore about me only, it was also about my son. I had to keep trying and I had to keep pushing, because I just really didn't want my son to grow up and look me in the eye and say, what have you done for me, mom, ever? Because my parents never done anything for me. And I have contacted my uncle who lived in America and who never met me before. And fast forward a few months, and I ended up in 1990 in Chicago. And I used to think that that was it. That was all my adversities. And later I met my husband, now my ex. I was married for 25 years, but I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm gonna build a great life. And then I brought my son, and then I had my daughter. And I built a really successful career in the pharmaceutical industry. Actually, I got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree. And once again, I thought, oh my God, I made it. This is it. And after 25 years, literally one day, I found out my ex-husband was having an affair, and he literally just up and left. And this was during the time when the real estate market had crashed. We lost everything in a crash. Then he just took his salary, and I had a good job in the pharma industry, but my expenses were 3 times as much as the money I was making. And then the next thing I know, I find myself, oh my goodness, I was at the time probably 45, and I find myself once again $40,000, $50,000 in credit card debt. I find myself with the son who's in college, who I can't pay his tuition. He never qualified for any aid, because apparently the parents were making too much money. And I have no family here. I have no parents, no sisters, no brothers. I'm all by myself. And then I had a 12-year-old daughter. And once again, losing everything, no money, in debt. And I'm just like, how does a person like me, who I thought I did all the right things, right? I hustled and I kept pulling myself by my bootstraps, and I got myself out of the dysfunctions of Romania, and I made sure I don't drink, and I made sure I do all the right things, and I educated myself. And I was like, how does a person like me end up at 45 completely broke, alone? I was depressed. My health wasn't good. My financially broke, literally hitting rock bottom. And I realized like something's not right in this equation. Like I feel like I did all the right things, and it's not right. And then I realized, I started searching, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to fix my life. But next thing I know, I ended up with a heart attack. So again, adversity. The reason I'm sharing this with you guys, that I know every single one of you has a story, and probably hardship, a story of hardship. But then also, whenever there's a lot of hardships, it's not about how many times we fall, you guys. It's about how many times we get back up. And I know we hear those things all the time, like on Instagram, and we hear them and it sounds good. But actually, for a lot of us, it's reality. And especially when you just have no choice, you have to get back up. You have children depending on you, and you still have a life to live, right? You have to get back up. You have no choice. But then when it happens several times, you start realizing, oh, okay, it really truly is true. It doesn't matter how many times I fail or how many mistakes I make. Sometimes I say to my friends, I could write a book on all the good advice I didn't take or all the mistakes I made. But it's not about that, because it's about all the times that I succeeded when I kept pushing through. And I knew that then one of the first things I have to fix is my finances. And I realized, even with all my master's degree level education, I knew nothing about financial education. I knew no one ever taught me about money. I had my 401k, just like most of us, which I had no idea how it worked. If you ask me what are stocks, what are bonds, what are mutual funds, how is it taxed, I had no clue. There was money coming out of my paycheck, and I was told that I should have this account. And so I did. I had no emergency fund. We didn't have any savings. All the savings that we had, we put it in 2 other properties. But again, because of the crash, we lost them all. So I lost everything. And I realized, okay, I have to figure this out. I have to figure this out. And I got to start learning about money, and I got to fix my finances first, and then we can go from there. And that leads me to this industry. And so they say, when you're really looking for something, and when you shall seek, you shall find. And by the grace of God, I started doing volunteer work, and I met my upline, who's in our previous company, and I was telling her about my problems, and I said, I'm really looking for a financial advisor, but I've seen a couple, and they all charging me $2,000, $3,000 for the services. Not only that, a lot of them actually didn't want to talk to me because I didn't have a minimum 7 figures to invest with them at that time. And that's when I really started learning the realities of the lack of financial education in this country, and what I can do to a person. And lo and behold, she was like, well, I'm in finance. And the rest is history. First, I became a client. I started fixing my finances. I started building up an emergency fund, paying off my debt. Even that, I had no idea anything about why is my debt constantly growing so fast when I'm not spending any extra on the credit cards. Well, I didn't know that there's something called interest rate, right? And the higher the interest rate, the faster your debt doubles. And again, when I started just learning some of these things, you guys, it just blew my mind, right? And I was like, how is this stuff not taught in schools? How does a person goes through so much education and never really knows these things? And so long story short, when my finances started getting a little bit better, then I really started learning these concepts, and I was like, everybody should know these concepts. And so I started working with them. And long story short, I got my license in 2018, but I still had my full-time job, and I wasn't really full-time in the business. I was part-time. And then fast forward Vantage and Jeff, of course. I know, like many of us here, we have great appreciation for Jeff. I know for many of you, he's been instrumental, certainly for me in my life. He has been instrumental in teaching me, in mentoring me. And when Jeff came to Vantage and Vantage started just really growing, it was really a no-brainer for me to make a decision and say, this is the man that I'm going to follow. I'll just say this: for 20 years, 25 years almost, I worked in the pharmaceutical industry, and I made it from the mailroom where I started, because I didn't even speak English, to senior director level. And I will tell you guys, I met the CEO once, and even then I was told, do not speak unless he speaks to you first, right? Meanwhile, here we are in this company, and we have access to extraordinary leadership, people who don't just talk the talk, but also walk the talk, walk the walk, people who had accomplished: John Benham, Dan Ebert, David Henning, of course, Jeff, certainly. And so it's a no-brainer. Everybody, I know I'm not going to leave this company or this industry for sure. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. And if you really work hard and you focus on just teaching people the very things that you feel that you needed to learn to help yourself, this industry will pay you a lot of money. And so with that said, I really, truly appreciate, I went over my time a little bit. I apologize for that, but I appreciate everybody here. And I'd like to I'll have the privilege, and please help me welcome this amazing family man who's been in the industry for, I think, almost over 10 years, who's doing fantastic and has one of the biggest teams in the company. Please help me welcome Mr. David Henning. David, take it away. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you, Liz, so much. Man, that was a powerful story. That's a lot of stuff to overcome. So that was incredible. Today,
Sure.
I want to talk to you guys. I'm kind of known as the product guy, as the financial professional, the guy who's been in the industry. And actually, I've been in for almost 20 years. Started off in the financial services industry doing wealth management and helping a lot of wealthy people grow and protect their money. But what I learned is that wasn't my passion. My passion is for helping average, everyday people learn the secrets to the money game. We spend our entire life, trying to play this money game, even if we don't know it, and we don't have the success that we need. But man, it's all it is we got to learn a couple different things, and it changes everything for us financially. But what I want to share with you guys today is more of what we can do for other people. How do we help all these people succeed? But what's more important is why we do what we do. So I'm going to share with you guys a couple stories today of the difference that we make. Okay, if you make this into a transactional business, it makes it harder for you to succeed, because all you're doing is transactions. All you're doing is like a daily routine. But if you have purpose behind what you do, you're going to have a lot more success. So let's go ahead and kind of get into it. I want to share with you some of the things that have happened along the way for me in my journey in financial services. This first picture is a young gentleman named Cameron. Cameron was in the Merchant Marine. And he was brought on board to work with me and learn about stuff because he wanted to learn about money, and he wanted to do something in addition to being in the Merchant Marine. So Cameron came on board with us. We followed the systems. We sat down with him. We did a financial analysis. We gave him the client experience. And when we were done, we helped him implement a retirement savings strategy. Okay, we helped him get an IUL, Indexed Universal Life Policy, with a $500,000 death benefit. Well, Cameron kind of faced a little bit of adversity immediately after coming on board with us, because Cameron was this young gentleman, 23 years old, was on the ship. And I was so proud of him because he actually got his license while he was on the ship. Did the entire licensing course on a little iPhone 3. You remember those little iPhones when they first came out? Like he had one of those, did his entire licensing course on an iPhone 3 while at sea in the Merchant Marine. And so we did the client experience. We helped him out. He got a $500,000 IUL. Immediately, all of his young friends came to him and said, hey, Cameron, you're 23 years old. Why do you need life insurance? You don't have a family. You don't have anybody that really needs your, life insurance benefit. You need to get rid of this thing. So he listened to those negative people trying to get into his mind, and he came to us and he's like, hey, I really don't need this policy. All my friends said I'm too young. I don't need life insurance. And we reminded Cameron of the other reasons why he got that policy, right? So it was for his future beneficiaries. It was to help him accumulate cash, or wealth tax-free. It was going to grow tax-deferred, come out tax-free. It was going to be there to help supplement his retirement when he was ready to retire. It was a savings vehicle and all the other things that it would do for him. Well, fortunately for Cameron, he listened to what we had to say and he kept that policy. It wasn't like a few weeks after we had that conversation, he was coming back off of the ship and it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. And you see that white truck in that picture? He was so proud of that truck. Cameron got off the ship, got in his truck, was driving home. On the drive home, we don't know what happened, but Cameron veered off the road and went directly into a tree. And Cameron passed away that day. So all these people said he didn't need insurance, but let me tell you what that insurance did for him when we delivered that death benefit. Cameron's mom was retirement age. She had never had any success with money, wasn't going to be able to retire. She was going to have to work the rest of her life. That $500,000 death benefit took care of his mom in retirement. And if you knew Cameron, you know Cameron loved his mom more than anything. The only other thing that Cameron cared about as much as his mom was his church. And he was very faithful to his church. Well, his mom decided that she should tithe 10% of that death benefit to the church. So she gave $50,000 of that death benefit to the church. What Cameron didn't know is his church was also struggling financially, and that $50,000 kept his church in play so that they could help so many other people. So what we do makes a significant difference for a lot of people. Cameron was a young gentleman, 23 years old. All of his friends told him he didn't need insurance. But that insurance made a significant difference for his family and for his church. Okay? So understand what we do makes a serious difference for people. So make sure you share this with everybody and you tell that story, on why somebody 23 years old needs coverage. All right, Maria, next one. I'm going to show you another one of our clients who was actually an agent with us. Again, we followed the system. Okay, we brought somebody on board. We ran them through the system, helped them get the client experience. We helped them implement $1 million Trendsetter LB policy, which stands for living benefits. There's a lot of power in living benefits, right? Most people, they don't want to die to collect a benefit. You want to be able to collect a benefit when you need it the most. So this was one of our clients. We helped them implement a $1 million term policy with living benefits. Well, about 8 months after he was on board with us, one night he starts to experience chest pain, severe chest pain. And we men are stubborn. We think we can just sleep everything off, right? So that night he wanted to sleep it off. But his wife, fortunately, a lot of us are blessed to have women in our lives that are way smarter than us, that have more common sense. His wife says, no, you need to go to the hospital. So he listened to his wife, went to the hospital that night. The doctor told him, if you had not come in tonight, you would not have woken up in the morning. He had 2 arteries that were almost 100% blocked. So they took him in, They did emergency surgery and they placed 2 stents in his heart. Because of that $1 million term policy with living benefits that we implemented for him, the insurance company determined that that triggered his critical benefits. And it paid him out a check for $353,000 tax-free. Okay, well, you would never know today that he had anything wrong with him or that he had experienced that because, medicine is so great today. But that check for $353,000 helped change his life financially forever. It allowed him to pay off his house, pay for his children's education, and pay off all of his debt. So because he was coachable and he got the policy in place with living benefits, it changed his life and his family's life with living benefits. Okay, Maria, next one. This one is really special to me. This is Howard and Michelle Proctor. They came on board to us. They were introduced to us from a mutual friend. Howard and Michelle are pastors of their own church. And if you guys know me, I love helping the church. I love sharing our financial messages with the church and helping people understand how they can change their financial lives. Again, Howard and Michelle, extremely coachable, understand, what we're doing. We sat down with them, did a financial analysis, helped, them with the client experience. We implemented $1 million trendsetter LB for Michelle as well. A term policy with living benefits. And we had continued to work with the church. As a matter of fact, some of you guys, if you went to the Wealth Bowl in Tampa, you saw Michelle get up on stage. She's actually written a book about all the things that we've taught her over the years about finance, and it's making a difference in the churches. Well, one day I was doing a big event, and Michelle Proctor was supposed to be there, and she wasn't there. And that wasn't like Michelle. Michelle goes to everything, every training, every event. She loves what we do. Well, Michelle wasn't there, so I called her that morning. And when I called her, she's like, David, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, what's wrong? And her speech was slurred and slow. Her speech patterns were incoherent. I thought Michelle was having a stroke. So I told her, I said, Michelle, you get to the hospital right now. Michelle gets to the hospital. They check her in, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. Well, several weeks later, we discovered it wasn't a stroke. Michelle has now been diagnosed with MS. And the doctor said this is the most severe case of MS we have ever seen. Michelle lost her ability to walk on her own. She had trouble talking. She actually experienced blindness for a while. She needed help to get up to go to the bathroom. She needs help, even today, to help feed her because she's lost control of the muscles that help us swallow. She's got severe brain lesions on the back of her head. And it's a significant lifestyle change for somebody. So with Michelle and her living benefits, it triggered the chronic benefit for her. Okay, so if you can't perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, okay, for a period of 90 days, it triggers the chronic benefit. Michelle's going to struggle with MS for the rest of her life. It also impacted her life expectancy. The last doctor she went to at the hospital said, and this is sad because, Michelle and Howard are such great friends of ours. Her son, Sam, is like another son for us. He always calls us, Uncle David and Aunt Cindy. He comes and raids our fridge all the time. But they said that her life expectancy is about 8 years. So because of that policy that we implemented for her, she also received a 6-figure check that made a difference for her and her husband because it caught up the mortgage on their church. It paid off all their debt, and it got Michelle the medical care she needed to get her to where she is today. So I showed you an example of helping someone get a life insurance policy where that death benefit helped them out. I showed you an example of the living benefits, where the critical kicked in with Scott and his heart attack. And now I just showed you an example of the chronic with Michelle and how that changed her family's life. So what we do makes a difference for a lot of people. It changes a person's entire financial situation. But I'm going to show you one time where it didn't make a difference, but this business did. All right. So Maria, next one. This is me. This is me 4 years ago. I was in Dallas, Texas, and I had a massive cardiac arrest, the one that they call the Widowmaker. And I clinically died twice that day. Went into the hospital, and the doctors had to do emergency surgery on me. I have 4 stents and 3 arteries. I had 100% blockage in all 3 of them. I shouldn't be here today. So they did the emergency surgery on me. They induced a coma. I was in a coma for a week. My wife did not know if I was going to live or if I was going to die. But fortunately, I'm here today because of a lot of different blessings. Number one, I'm married to a cardiac nurse, and Cindy kept me alive through CPR until the paramedics got there and used the paddles and brought me back and rushed me to the hospital. Okay. Not only that, I happen to be close to one of the best cardiac hospitals in the country, where the doctor did an experimental procedure on me that saved my life. I came out of that heart attack. They woke me up from a coma, and it's like most people, if they don't have one of these living benefit policies, they're wondering, how am I going to pay all these medical bills? How am I going to make an income? Because it took me 3 months to recover. I had to go through rehab. I had to relearn to walk. I had to, recover some of my speech. There's a lot of things that I had to do to recover from this, and I didn't immediately have the ability to go back to work. But I wasn't like Scott, where I had $1 million LB policy to help me pay the bills. I've been in this industry now for almost 20 years. LB, living benefits, didn't exist when I got in. But you know what happened? I listened to the company I was with before, and I bought a term policy instead of a permanent policy. And that policy did not have any living benefits. My hospital bill was $314,000. So you're going to hear a lot of people out there, spewing their garbage about buy term and invest the difference, and their term has no living benefits. Don't believe that crap.
That's right.
Living benefits is one of the most important things you can have right now. I'm telling you from personal experience. But you know what saved me? Being in this business model. Because I had spent 10 years of my career building up a big business, building a large team, and guess what happened? My team went into action when this happened. We had, Maria on our team, and she's the most amazing individual you could have. So you guys can't have her. She's already on our team. We love Maria. But you know what she said? She's like, we got this. We got this. And she held our whole team together. She was the glue. So my wife was taking care of me. Maria was taking care of the business. Our whole team sprung into action. Howard and Michelle Proctor started a nationwide prayer chain for me. Everybody went to work. And we had one of the best income months we've ever had while I was in the hospital and I was in recovery, because our team helped support us. They went in and did what they had to do, so they replaced my income while I was recovering. So I will tell you, Matt, build a massive team. Make sure you follow the system and have everybody in your team experience the client experience so that their family's protected. Have a huge belief in living benefits and in permanent insurance and everything that we do to make a difference for families. So what we do matters. I want you to understand that. But if you're afraid to do sales, if you're afraid to talk to people, and you don't share with them what we do, I don't envy you when that person that you didn't talk to experiences any of these tragedies. And you tell yourself every single night, what if I just talked to them? Their widow would be okay. Their children would be okay financially if I had just talked to them. So you can show up and you can deliver flowers or you can deliver a check. The choice is yours. But understand what we do for people, because I've experienced too many different scenarios where we do make a difference or we don't make a difference. So go out there and make a significant difference. All right. So now I'm going to turn this call over to one of my really, really close friends, somebody that I love being in business with, somebody that's in the trenches, somebody that has high integrity, somebody that I trust 100% because he does what he says every single time. And you know what he does? Is always right for his team and always right for his clients. So that is somebody that I want to be in the trenches with, somebody that I want to partner with, somebody that I love working with, somebody that I respect, somebody who's in leadership and is building a massive team right now. And he has the moral authority to challenge anybody to do what he says because he's done it first. So with that, I'm going to turn this call over to Dan Ebert, my good friend. Dan, take it away.
Thanks, Dave. Wasn't that powerful? Give it up for Dave. Give him a huge, round of applause. Seriously, like, just to let you guys know, I've got $2 million worth of living benefits on me. 2 million. And it's less than my car insurance per month. Okay. And do I have your permission? Is it cool if I'm just direct to you today? Is it cool? Nobody's gonna get their feelings hurt, right? We're good.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, baby. Hey, I love it. Hey, because you know what? When you have a coach, their job is to tell you the truth. If they don't tell you the truth and say, "Hey, you're doing great," when you're not, that doesn't do anybody any good. You don't get participation ribbons in the game of life. Not everybody gets a ribbon. You got to do something to do it. And Dave is a walking miracle, and I'm really grateful that he made it and he's here. But we have to fight for our people. And while I'm being direct, if you don't have a policy and you're on this call, shame on you. Because there's people that are counting on you that if something happened to you, they might be in a worse situation themselves. That's just straight up. That's the real deal. I know all the leaders agree, LJ, and everybody does. So if you haven't done an analysis yet and figured out your finances, how the heck are you going to go out there and fix somebody else's if you don't practice what you preach at the end of the day? Straight up. So I'm going to do some recognition, and I've got a bombshell announcement I'm going to drop on you guys later on. So we're going to do some recognition. I'm going to do a quick training for you guys. But I got a really important announcement to you. And it's kind of an urgency matter for everybody on this call. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to do some recognition. Who loves to get recognized? Who loves to get recognized? Right, there we go. And I want you to clap onto others as you would want them to clap onto you. Okay, is that fair? A fair assessment? So we're going to go through the recognition for the month of April, and we're going to go through different categories. So clap for your people, the ones that are killing it. So personal points, top 10 personal points. Frank Aragon, number 10.
Job, Frank.
Frank Reaver. Reggie Cunningham at 8. David Henning at number 7. Number 6,
Awesome job, David.
Number 5, Liz Savage. Number 4, Augustus Karange, A2 Brute. Number 3, Liz Todorovic.
Awesome job, Liz.
$11,000
All right, Reggie, Liz.
And she's this close to her 50. So Trisha Vaughn, number 2, number 1
Trisha.
is Alan Sanders. Made $10,000 last week in one cycle. Personal recruits. Who are the best personal builders in the company? Number 10, William Nemo. Number 10, tied at 10, John Herman.
Good job, John.
Kellyanne Green. Marcus Bynum. I saw Marcus there. He's
All
a
right,
great
Marcus.
golfer and a
Yeah,
great
go
recruiter.
ahead, Marcus.
Randall
Woo!
Catrone, Emma
Marcus,
Munoz, LJ
Marcus.
Barton.
Marcus.
These all have
Go,
3
LJ.
directs this month. Number 6 with 4 is Dan Ebert, Adriana Ortiz,
Go, Ortiz,
LMS
go.
Legacy. I just met them the other day. Jesus Miranda at number 4 with 5. Sharita Stevens with 5. Number 3, Bentley Walker. Number 2,
Good
Trisha
job.
Vaughn. So Trisha
Go,
Vaughn's the
Trisha.
number 2 personal recruiter in the company, and she's got
Trisha.
43 directs this month. But there can only be one number
Way to
1, and the
go.
number 1 personal recruiter,
Who is it?
Tony Gaskins, with 120
Wow,
directs this
let's
month.
Let's
You,
go,
do you
Tony.
understand what's going on here?
Let's
You guys are like,
get
man, I
it.
got one
Record,
direct last
record,
year, and this
record
guy's got
breaking.
120 in a month.
That's a
Right,
record.
raising
That's
the
a record.
standards in a rising tide lifts all ships. Right,
Oh.
so there we go. Great
Yep.
job, Tony Gaskins. Core team points: Robbie Hazel at 10, Janine Betancourt at 9, Marla Redrick at 8,
Hey,
number 7,
Marla.
Journey McBride, number 6, Liz Savage,
Marla.
number 5, Dwayne Griever, number 4, Liz T, number 3, Alan Sanders, number 2, Trisha Vaughn, number 1, 14 points. What do you know? David Henning, 906. You know, if you
Let's
want to
go.
train on Saturdays, put up some numbers.
Let's go,
Don't
David.
cry about how you're not training if you're not putting up numbers. There we go. Core team recruits. Number 10, Dwayne Griever. Number 9, Adriana Ortiz. Number 8, Jesus Miranda. Number 7, Trey Turner. Number 7, Ty, Dan Ebert. I know him. LJ Bart. Marcus Bynum at 4. Corey Palmbrown at 3. Number 2, Trisha Vaughn. Number 1, T. Gaskins. There we go. Boom, boom. Frontline points. Number 10, Liz Savage. Number 9, Dwayne Griever. Number 8, Liz T. Number 7, Alan Sanders. Number 6, Brian Kitchen. Can't stand the heat. Get out the kitchen. Number 5, Christian Casada. Number 4, Trisha Vaughn. Number 3, Hen Dog. Number 2, Dan Ebert. I know him. Number 1, frontline points. None other than the heavy hitter himself,
LJ
LJ and Angie Bart. Actually, Angie's the whole team. You're nothing without her. There you
Let's
go.
go,
LJ.
Angie.
That's
Frontline
correct. That's
recruit.
correct.
Let's go,
Number
Angie.
10, Mr. Bynum. Number 9, Ruben Gomez. Number tied at 9, Andrea Sorosa. 7, Corey. 6, Trey Turner. 5, Dan Ebert. Number 4, Trish. Number 3, LJ. Number 2, Tony Gaskins. Number 1, frontline recruits. What do you know? 135 recruits month ain't over yet.
Wow.
That's your record, by the way. That's Dave's record, all-time record, 135 in a month. Give it up for the Hennings because they're crushing it right now.
We coming,
Crushing
Henning. We
it.
coming, Henning. We coming,
Entire
Henning.
team points. Number 10, Pow Tow. Number 9, Alan Sanders. Number 8, Brian Kitchen. Number 7, Trey Turner. Number 6, Trish. Number 5, David Henning. Number 4, Christian Casada. Number 3, Dan Ebert. Number 2, Andrea Sorosa. Number 1, heavy hitters. LJ and Angie Barton, the heavy hitters, 201
Heavy
962.
hitters. Let's go.
Entire team recruits. Number 10, Corey. Number 9, Christian. Number 8, Ruben passed Christian this month. Whoa. Here we go. Trey Turner.
All
Dan
right,
Ebert,
Ruben.
Trisha Vaughn. Number 4, LJ. Number 3, Andrea. Number 2, Tony Gaskins. Number 1, entire team recruits. Again, Mr. Henning, David Henning, 135. With
All
Cindy,
right.
who also is the brains behind the operation. So, cycle of the week, David Henning, 13,556.
All
Give
right,
that to
Diggs.
Cindy. She can go shopping. All right, new $50,000 earners in the company. Liz Savage, Rebecca Lim, David Garcia, Augustus Caesar Carangue, Melvin Singleton, and Alan Sanders. Great job. New $100,000 earner, Brian Naranjo.
Let's go,
Another
Brian.
new $100,000
Good job,
earner,
Brian.
Maria Munoz. Congratulations,
Let's
Maria.
Let's go, Brian and
New
Maria.
350 earner, LJ and Angie.
LJ.
New
Let's go, heavy hitters.
750,000 earner, Trisha Vaughn.
Awesome job, Trisha.
Great job.
Come on
Ascend
now.
registrations. I'm going to show you this right now, and this is going to preface something I'm going to drop on you later. Number 10, and Lisa Manalili. Number 9, Trisha Vaughn. Number 8, Rick Cam. This is their whole team. Pow Tow, number 7, David Henning, number 6, number 5, Armand, number 4, Trey, number 3, LJ, number 2, Andrea, number 1, Dan Ebert, right? So listen, you guys, we got to get some convention tickets sold. Well, I'll break it to you. I'll break the bad news to you in a few minutes. Okay. So you guys are not going to like me, LJ. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but oh man, Hey, but you know what? You got your whys that drive you. So that's all that matters. So we're gonna get into my PowerPoint today. Let's talk about it. We're gonna talk about building. Who wants to build a big business? Like, raise your hand if you want to build a big business.
Yep.
If you don't, that's okay. You know, the world needs ditch diggers too. If you caught that movie reference, then you're my friend. So anyway, so if you want to build a big business, this business grows from big event to big event. Do you understand? What's a big event? I would say every Saturday. Do you have more people on this call Saturday to Saturday? I know that we had 53 on last week. I know that we have 61 on today. So 61 out of the 136 is from our guys, but I track that every week. And the reason it grows every week is because I track it every week. Dwayne knows how to track it every week. All of our people know how to track it every week. Do you have more people on today than you did last week? So we're going to get into this bad boy. We're going to talk about how do you build this big event to big event. Sound fair enough? Cool. Let's get into it. Big events. So here we go. What's the key to building for big event to big event is consistency. How consistent are you personally at showing up on Saturdays? Do you show up early? Do you show up late? Do you show up sometimes? Do you show up with your camera on or your camera off? Do you show up sometimes with your camera on, camera off, or do you just not show up at all? Right? So it's very consistent. What happens to you? I just want to hear it. Let's just say this. Let's say you are an inconsistent showerer. What if you shower, clean yourself inconsistently? What happens? Anybody want to answer this question?
Your recruiting numbers are not going to look good.
You're gonna stink if you don't shower consistently.
Dirty,
So your
dirty.
business is gonna stink if you don't show up consistently, right? PU, right? So it's very important. Showing up is part of the deal. Okay. Number two, weekly meetings. We got Wednesdays, we got Saturdays. Is your attendance growing every single week? You got to track that. So if I were, let's say, Nora on our team, I'd be like, Nora, how many people do I have here today? How many people am I going to bring on this week? How am I going to get those new people on to next Saturday? And all of a sudden, it's going to grow. So I'm going to talk some numbers with you, real factual, how you translate this to real dollars in your pocket. Cameras on, engaged, taking notes, learning. Are you really engaged if your camera's off? What if you got some stud leaders on your team? Like, let's say you had David Henning on my team, who's a complete stud. And I like showed up and my camera was never on. And David's like, man, I'm here. I'm in it to win it. My leader's kind of a flake. So I'm just going to go past him and see who I can get real coaching from. Do you want to have credibility? Put yes in the chat if you want to have credibility with your team. Put yes in the chat, right? Cameras off. You lost all your street cred with your team, Reggie. I know you're always on. So there you go. So part of the game. Convention. We have conventions 2 times a year, right? Our next one is coming up at the end of June. I hope you bought, all I'm gonna say is this, I hope you bought your ticket already for convention, right? You see where I'm going with this.
Awesome.
If you don't, so the conventions are very important. This is why. I see Chantel, 99.9% of the money made, the total commission made in the entire company are by people that go to convention. The other 0.1% of the money made by all the rest of the agents in the company are by people that don't go to convention. So common sense, right? What would common sense tell you if you want to make more money here? Would it be not to go to the convention or to go to the convention?
Go to the
To the
convention.
convention.
You got your ticket yet?
Yes.
There
I
you
do
go.
not have my ticket, but I am getting it today.
Well, it might be too late. Sorry, Armand. I'll tell you guys about it in a minute. Buy tickets early before they sell out. Always push for meeting attendance. You never know what your people will miss. How many people could have used David Henning's training that aren't here today? You have anybody on your team, right? You have anybody on your team that should have been on here today? Somebody's drawing on my screen. But yeah, whoever's doing that, knock it off. It's all good. So you just never know. Like I see Rebecca here. Did you get some value out of that? Did it give you a sense of urgency to make sure that your people are clients? Did it give you a sense of urgency to make sure that your family, they're clients, right? So big events. Here's the deal. Here's the real deal. Armand, every person you have at the next big event will lead to about 2,000 points in production per month for your team. Every person you get there is about $5,000 that's going to be in your pocket. So let's say you just bring yourself to an event. You'll make maybe 5,000 bucks if it's just you between now and the next event, right? So that's the numbers. I figured out the math. Anybody that knows me, I'm kind of a math guy, right? So Rebecca's the CFO of a company, and she's like, "Man, you like math." So, but if you're in the money business, shouldn't you do some math? So every person is 2,000 points per production per month, Dwayne. So if you get 10 people there, that's 20,000 points per month in production. If you get 100 people there, that's 200,000 points per production per month per production. So you make about $500,000 residual, at least, right? $1 million a year, probably. If you get 200 people doing an event. You have to go crazy on recruiting and getting people to big events between now and Ascension. When you bring these people on into your team, you should always get 4 commitments. I think I talked about this last week. Do you guys remember the 4 commitments I gave? You have to commit to getting a license, right? You got to commit to becoming a client, a product of the product, get your living benefits, all that stuff. We have team trainings throughout the week, right? We have team trainings throughout the week, Wednesday nights, Saturdays, 1 hour, right? Can you put 2 hours of training meetings into your schedule this week to make that 100,000 bucks or whatever you want to make your first year? And lastly, we have trade shows, we have events a couple times a year. Bernadette, can you commit to those 4 things? Chantel, can you commit to those 4 things? David Henning, can you commit to those 4 things? Great. Let's get your background check done. So I always get those 4 commitments before I do somebody's background check. So if you want to build a big business, what do you have to do? You have to focus on big events. You have to be focused on moving people. If you're a leader, you move people. If you're a follower, you don't move people. And it's okay to be a follower as long as you're striving to turn into a leadership role. And maybe you don't want to be a leader. Maybe you just want to get your license and send referrals. And that's okay too. There's a spot for everybody here in this company, right? And we love you and we respect you no matter what. But guess who makes the most money here? The leaders, the people that can move people. Good job, Chantel. So do you want the good news or the bad news first?
Bad news.
So Armand, so here's the deal. And I pulled back from this until Monday. So I wrote a check to Vantage for $103,275 to buy the rest of the tickets for the event. And they said, no, you got to wait till Monday. So whatever doesn't get booked, we just recruited 2 teams from 2 different companies that are bringing 200 agents over each. And they've already spoken for the tickets, but I said, you can't yet. Okay. So they're basically ready to send me the money after I hand them the check, whatever they need to do, however many are left. So here's the deal, Armand, LJ, everybody. I'm gonna hold off till Monday to write this check. Whatever's left over on Monday, I'll write the check and I'll take the rest for these people that are coming over to our team. But you got till Monday. Is that a fair enough deal?
Yes.
I mean, if I was a jerk, I would have just said, no, the heck with them. But I want this company to thrive. I want you guys to have a great event too. But you have to realize, you guys, do you see how important these big events are to me that I know? And this includes the people on my team. If the people on my team don't buy more tickets between now and Monday, those other tickets are already spoken for. Do you understand? So if Charlene Allard doesn't have any tickets, then she's not going to the event. So you got to figure it out. I really do care about you guys. And that's why I'm waiting. Okay. So it's up to you what you want to do between now and Monday. Because I would assume most people aren't satisfied with the amount of people. If you went to the event with the amount of tickets you have sold for your team right now, would you be happy or sad showing up in Alpharetta?
Very happy.
No, tell me for real. Like, would you be happy or satisfied or not so satisfied if that's all the amount of people you could bring to the event? Because it's
Definitely
a
not
limited
satisfied.
amount. So Monday, okay? And then because it's not just our team, it's the whole company. You see how we talk about we're fighting together as a company to make this thing happen? The whole deal is we have to stay tight. There's other companies that rip each other apart from the inside. That this person's fighting with this person's screwing the other person. That's not the culture we're building here at Vantage. We're not here to we don't go somebody's talking to somebody that's they're trying to recruit them, and then we don't backdoor them and try to recruit somebody, like, oh, sorry, go with this person. That's not how we do it, right? The pioneer leaders will be the gold rush. So Tim Delgado, you have to see how many tickets you bought and ask yourself, is that good enough for me getting these people, right, to the event? So, but if we build a right culture, Javier, Bernadette, Kevin, Palazzo, Armand, right? Nobody's going to beat us. Every great empire falls apart from the inside. Do you know how China got invaded by the Mongols? You ever see the Great Wall of China? You ever hear about the story of the Great Wall of China? Who on earth way back then could get over that wall? Nobody. The answer is nobody. You know how the Mongols got into China? Somebody that was watching the gate let them in. You can't let that negativity and bad blood into this company. If we stay tight, I'm telling you guys right now, if we stay tight as a company and we fight for each other, we will pass WFG, we will pass PHP, we'll pass all these companies, we'll pass LJ. Wait till Vantage is bigger than Primerica. Wait till Vantage is over a $10 billion company, and wait till you guys that are getting ownership from the 1% or the top 20% that are NMDs. Wait till you get a multiple seven-figure check when this thing goes. I talked to some people from this other three-letter acronym the other day. They're hanging on to a little tiny ownership thing. What's going to hit next year? I go, your contract being 20% more than it is over there, you'll make that up in the next 3 months by your production. What are you hanging on to? Sometimes you got to kill your little cows and just move forward. Whatever's holding you back, Sharita, whatever's holding you back, Ariel, whatever's holding you back, Rick Cam, you need to get rid of that crap because it doesn't serve you. You understand? We're winning. we're going to win with you or without you. That's what I tell people when I sit down with them. Nick Saban from Alabama is the greatest college football coach ever, in my opinion. Said, you can come here or not. We're going to win with you or without you. So I hope you understand you're swinging the big stick here. I hope you understand if you're bringing people over here from other companies, they're waiting to come. Train's leaving the station, baby.
Mm.
So it's go time. You got to make sure you get there and you get all your people there. I feel really bad for people that have not bought enough tickets for this thing yet or are not planning on it. Because it's going to be a real lonely rest of the 2025 for you. So, fair warning, we good? Fair warning. Let's get those numbers up. I told them worst case scenario, I need 200. So they said, okay, you can have 200 if you give them till Monday. Okay? Fair enough? And then we'll do it, and I'll sell mine on StubHub for $500 a piece. I'm totally kidding. Hey, it's way more important to get people to the event than to make a. We're not making a profit. We're coming out of pocket for this event, by the way, you guys. We don't make money off big events. You understand it, right? We don't shut the company down for a week to host a big event because for our health. Because we know we build this from big event to big event. And if you saw the stuff that we have going on, you guys, at this event, whoo, you should just see the awards. Who doesn't want to qualify to go to Jeff's estate and see the home office and all this cool stuff? And you can say, I was there. I was there at the beginning when they had that first big ascension event for the company. Or you can say, yeah, I stayed home. By the way, we're not putting it on Zoom either. Right? We're not putting it on Zoom. You got to be there in person to see it, Kevin Boykins, right? So that's the deal, you guys. I love you and I respect you all, just to let you guys know. But come Monday, I'm not waiting for your butts to buy tickets either. Okay? Fair enough? Fair game? Shake on it? All right. So, all right, you guys, you have a great Saturday. I hope you got some good value out of it today. Hope you got some great value out of it today. And let's go win. Have a great Saturday. Bye-bye.